Well, folks, we have reached the end of time. It's been an interesting ride. I'm glad those of you that have stuck with me this long are still here. Hopefully, everybody's accomplished everything they've wanted to in their lives. Had some good times, probably had some bad times too. But yeah, this is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Mm-hmm. Unreal. Unreal. All right, folks, if you haven't figured it out yet, I am being very facetious right now. This is indeed not the end of time. But the media, everybody out there wants you to think that it is. And sadly, a lot of people think it is the end of time. The world, if you haven't seen it, I tried to put up a thumbnail saying the world is closed, but that one I couldn't get to work. So I went and did everything's closed. But basically, that's what's happening now. Everything is closed. Schools are closed for the next few weeks at least. In my area, it's a month. Let's see what else we got going on here. A lot of stores are closing down. Grocery stores are out of everything. I mean, we're not just talking about things like toilet paper and paper towels. We're literally talking about everything. Meat, dry goods, milk. I mean, you can't get anything here locally. It's unbelievable. Government institutions are closed down, effectively shutting down things like the DMV. The courts are closed. The president has enacted that it is now illegal to have groups of more than 50 people in one location. So, heck, that should put a kibosh on places like Best Buy, all grocery stores, because I don't know about you guys where I live. Generally, there are more than 50 people in a store at one time. It went from no groups of 150 down to groups of 50. So, I don't know, folks. And maybe this is bad on my part, but honestly, I'm not all that concerned. To be perfectly honest with you, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Now, we are doing the best we possibly can to mitigate the damage, to stop the spread as much as possible. But I don't know how many of you remember a mini series called The Stand. It was based on a book that Stephen King wrote called The Stand. And in that book / movie, I would highly recommend it. Reading the book and the movie, the actual miniseries follows the book pretty closely. But in that series, they have a man-made superflu very similar to this COVID-19 virus, albeit a lot more lethal, that spreads across the world. And basically, I think in that case, killed off about 90% of the population. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen here. This is not that type of thing. But what you can take away from that movie is no matter what you do, no matter how many precautions you take, no matter how much you use hand sanitizers, no matter how much you wash your hands, no matter if you go out with a mask or without a mask, it is going to spread, folks. It is airborne. It is actually in the air that we are breathing now. So we got to just let it run its course. There's nothing else we can do right now. It's gotten to that point, unfortunately. The other thing, a lot of you have been asking, hey, Matt, how come you haven't been doing any technology builds or computer hauls or, garage sale finds or, thrift store finds? It's because there really isn't anything to get. Everybody is in and of effect shut down. Now, yes, some of the thrift stores are still open, but they're not putting a lot of stuff out. Nobody's donating. So the stuff that's in there now is stuff that's been in there pretty much for the last few weeks, not worth buying. So until all of this lunacy subsides, it's going to be a slow go for a while. I'm hoping this doesn't end my channel and end a lot of other people's channels. I'll be very surprised if you don't see a lot more YouTube content in the near future, because people are not working. And if they are working, they're working from home. And let's face it, when you're at home, you don't necessarily get as much work done as you would if you were at work. But a lot of people can't even do that. A lot of people are just in of effect shut in now. So you may be seeing a lot more YouTube content. I don't know what they're going to be doing. It's kind of hard to figure it out, honestly. Awesome beer. As long as I have power and electricity, food, and water, I'll be fine. I just got some old PC parts from a local business. The media, actually, most people in the world want money and attention. And that's the big problem. Everybody is hyping this up. The media is going to hype it up because they want the money. That's how they make money, is playing one crisis to the next. You know, years ago it was swine flu and then bird flu, and now it's this coronavirus. And I am not by any stretch of the imagination saying this isn't a national emergency. It is. People are going to die from this, but generally it's going to be the elderly and immunocompromised people. It's not going to be young and healthy people, and even people that are young and have somewhat immunocompromised systems. They're generally going to be okay because the death rate of this is actually very low. It's even lower than the regular flu. So just try not to freak out, folks. I mean, I at first I was really not worried at all. Now I'm maybe a smidge worried, to be honest with you. But if you keep yourself in good shape, if you do best practices, then you're probably going to be fine. But even if you do contract it, don't worry too much. Stay home. Yes, self-quarantine, that is very important. And just don't freak out about it. That's true, Max. He's saying that this is definitely overreaching. We've had a lot of other things happen like this, and we're all still here. Humanity is still going to be here. If you believe what the Bible says, and I am a Bible-believing Christian, I believe that there is not going to be a pandemic that's going to wipe out 90% of the population. It's just not going to happen, folks. If you are a Bible believer and you've read Revelation, you've read a lot of the New Testament, and even some of the early Old Testament, the Lord has said he's not, or God, we should say God, said he's not going to ravage the world like he did with a flood. It won't be a flood. That being said, if we go towards, the rapture, when all good Christians will go to heaven, I believe it too. I believe it's in my lifetime. There is going to be a plague, basically, but it's not going to wipe out that many people. So make sure you read your Bible. I'm not a minister. I'm not very good at that. That's not my gift. But just don't worry too much about it. There's a lot worse things that happen in life, and it really just isn't that big of a deal, honestly. Lost computers. Once COVID-19 affects as much people as the flu, there will be a couple million deaths in the world. It's going to be worse than the flu, but it's not going to be bad like in the movies. I don't necessarily agree with that. The facts just don't hold up to that. The facts are that the flu actually has the common flu that we get every year has a higher death rate than this COVID-19 virus does. That being said, yes, there are going to be deaths. I mean, that's inevitable. It is a respiratory virus that attacks the respiratory system. So people that have, respiratory issues like emphysema, COPD, what's the other one I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but anything has to do with respiratory problems, they're the ones that are going to be highly affected by it. But honestly, you can't freak out, but you have to go about your life as you normally would. That's the only way you can get through things like this. And if you look back in history, way back in history, the Black Plague in England, we're talking about the Dark Ages, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But we just have to trust in the man upstairs that he has a plan for us. And I know that he does. Tyler's here. He says, I'm staying home. Everyone throwing this way out of proportion. They need to relax, keep their hands clean, and just get the things they need and not take a lot of stuff that other people need. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You do not need to hoard toilet paper, folks. There is no reason to do that. This does not, even if you get it, it does not attack your digestive system. You're not going to have explosive diarrhea. You're not going to be stuck on the toilet for 5 hours a day, and thus you're not going to need copious amounts of TP. So yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I don't even understand where that actually came from. I mean, why are we hoarding that kind of stuff? And the weirdest part of this is if you go into the stores, the toilet paper's gone, but a lot of times the paper towels, the napkins, all that is still in stock. So for some reason, people are just thinking toilet paper is something that they need. And you can use napkins if you need to wipe yourself. You can use paper towels, although if you have a septic system, I wouldn't recommend flushing them. But I don't know, folks. It just doesn't make sense to me. Wow. We got 8 people here. Hang on. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know if you guys are hearing that clicking in the background. It's almost like my mic is not totally plugged in or something. Hang on a sec, folks. I think I have a loose connection here. Oh, you know what it is? I have this mic plugged into the USB port in front that's a little loose, so I'll have to change that for next time. So every once in a while, if you guys hear kind of like a clicking sound, that's what it is. It's just it's in the bad USB port. Oh, by the way, if you are out there and you are having issues with allergies and you're like me, that it attacks your ears and kind of clogs your ears up, this is the best stuff to get. Not to arbitrarily change topics, but you see this right here, Equate. It's called Instant Ear Dry. Basically what this is, it's 93% isopropyl alcohol. And what you do is you actually put a few drops in each of your ears, let it sit in there. Let me read it here. Apply 4 to 5 drops in each ear, and then usually I'll let it sit in for like 90 seconds, and then I'll just drain it out. It actually drains all the water and the liquid that builds up in your ear, and that's the only way I can sleep at night, because if I don't do that, when I lay on the pillow, especially because I'm a side sleeper, and I sleep on my right side, so my left ear is down to the pillow, I can kind of hear the gurgling sound in my ear. It's like, blah, 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 blah. So that's the only way I can sleep at night. I saw that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tyler, I did see that the other day. He's talking about the toilet shower, and that's the other thing that people, I don't know if that's actually a meme or not. I don't actually know anybody that that has one of those, but basically what it is they took a sprayer like you would have from like you would clean your dishes with in your kitchen sink, and they hooked it up to the water inlet in their toilet, and they have it attached like a little hook. So instead of using toilet paper to wipe yourself off, you just take the sprayer and you go to clean yourself off. I don't know if that's a serious thing or not. Again, I don't know anybody that actually has something like that. I'd like to know, anybody out there do anything like that? I mean, I could see how it would work, but yeah, I guess I'll stick with toilet paper. But another thing you could do, I mean, not to gross anybody out here, but I mean, they actually make these toilet wipes, and I buy them too, because there are times I'll need them for one reason or another, and they're flushable. So basically they're like baby wipe type things, and you can wipe your bottom and you can just flush them down the toilet, and those actually work really well. And it seems like people are hoarding the toilet paper, but they're not hoarding those things. I don't know, maybe nobody else uses them. Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, Tyler. I saw multiple pictures of those on Facebook. I just don't know if that's real or not. Part of me wants to think it was just a picture somebody posted up as a joke, but I don't know. Maybe it is. I could be wrong. Toilet shower deal. Yeah. I don't know. what are we at? About 15 minutes right now. We can go for a few more minutes. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is how much I am not concerned about this. Mom and I, and yes, my mother is a senior. She is in that sectogenarian, so 70 range. So she is definitely more susceptible to this. But you know what? We're not letting this affect our lives. We are going for a walk today. We have to walk to the bank. My mom has to do something there. I don't know what. And then I think we're going to walk over to Aldi because I want to pick up some more mangoes. And they have these giant papayas on sale that I've been cutting up and I've been putting in my oatmeal in the morning. So we're going to go to Aldi, and I might stop by Walmart too. And again, that's just what I want to reiterate to you out there. Just live your lives, people. You know, life is short. It is fleeting at times. And, you know, that might not be the most popular thing for me to say on here, but you know what? It's something that needs to be said. I will definitely be keeping hand sanitizer with me. I always stay safe there, and we have a few bottles. It's hard to find around here though. Another thing you can do if you can't find hand sanitizer, you can use those Clorox wipes that I've been talking about, those disinfecting wipes. I'm sure everybody out there knows what they are. They usually come in those plastic jugs. And they say they're like they kill 99.9% of germs. I'll just keep a bunch of those and I'll put them in a plastic bag and I'll use those and I'll wipe down the handles on the shopping carts. You know, maybe have one of those when I'm opening doors, though most places now have the automatic doors anyway. Just be smart about it. It's funny. I didn't know that's how you spelled it. Bidet. Yeah. Some people actually have those. Believe it or not, that's not really what it's used for. Boy, am I glad I didn't make this one child friendly, because this particular live stream isn't. I'm not going to go into too big of depth on what a bidet is. You guys can look that up for yourself online. I knew one house that had one where we used to live. It was what we called the new house. It was the newest house on the block. Consequently, it was like a mansion. Where I lived, we all had ranches or raised ranches, maybe 2,000 square feet at the most. This house had to be 6,000, maybe 5,500 to 6,000 square feet. And I remember that my mom took a job there after she got off work at the school. She would clean it. And I was young and I was too young to be left home. She would bring me up there. And I remember I would usually sit in the living room, but there were times I'd follow her around the house, help her out, you know, maybe hand her Lysol or, you know, some cleaning implements. And I was in the master bathroom and I saw it and I'm like, okay, there's the toilet, but what is this thing next to the toilet? And of course, my mother knew what it was. And at the time I was probably 3 or 4 years old. So she said, oh, that's what they call a bidet. And I was like, well, what do they use it for? Well, being that age, my mother didn't want to tell me what it was actually used for. She kind of said, oh, it's used to clean your butt when you don't want to use toilet paper. But no, folks, that is not generally what that is used for. It is getting old on the news, and I'm getting tired of hearing about it. Honestly, it's not something I want to keep hearing about. Was this Diane Cabo? Good morning, Matt. Hope everyone is well. My son works at Target, and it makes me nervous. He's around people all day long. Again, if he's not in that high risk category, then even if he did theoretically contract the virus, chances are he would be fine. I am not a medical doctor. I am not pretending to be, but this is just what I'm going by, what the media says. Other doctors and more medical professionals than I am, I've talked to, say the same thing. And you don't even have to be a medical professional. I mean, you can just look around and the statistics show that the people that are most affected by this coronavirus are the elderly and the immunocompromised. That being said, I'm going to reiterate this a couple of times in the video. You want to observe best practices when it comes to hygiene. So carry around hand sanitizer, carry around the wipes, make sure they are alcohol-based wipes, not baby wipes. Those won't do anything. But chances are he's going to be perfectly fine. No, that is not what a bidet is actually used for. Look it up. I'm not going to say it because it's really nothing I want to reiterate on this channel, but no, that's not what they're actually used for. Tyler, I don't have TV, so I don't have to hear it, but just got Xbox One S and watch YouTube and Storyfire, and that's it. I'm fine without the drama news. Amen to that, brother. All right, I think we're going to end it here. I just want to do a quick live stream. It actually wound up being more like 30 minutes. Oh, I am going to read this because this is very important. TW Old said, young people saying it isn't because they're afraid of getting sick. They're correct. Young people aren't really affected by it, but here's the one thing that is kind of concerning. They are saying it to not spread it to others. So yes, young people may get it and may never ever show symptoms or serious symptoms, but they can be carriers and they can carry it to the elderly. So what you have to remember is if you have somebody in your family that is immunocompromised or somebody that that is in that risk factor, you may want to keep your distance if you are showing symptoms. And even if you're not showing symptoms, you have to be very careful. I'm young, so be careful what you say. I'm just talking facts right now. Again, I really don't care if you don't like this. There are people out there that are not going to like what I have to say right now. It doesn't make it any less true. I am letting you guys know the facts, and the facts are what you need to know. You need to make sure that you are informed, and you basically need to be out there. If you have to be out there, you need to make sure that you are observing the best practices. So, you know what? Take everything I say with a grain of salt. That's absolutely fine. You know what? Nothing I'm telling you is something that I can't prove. I can prove everything that I'm telling you guys right now. But that being said, people are, I don't know, folks. People are just crazy out there right now. I'm going to end this because I think we have a lot of trolls that are on here, and that's fine. That's fine. My goal is to piss off at least 3 people a day, honestly. You got to have fun sometimes, folks. I mean, you got to laugh in the face of adversity, but in all seriousness, stay safe out there. Make sure you are washing your hands. Make sure that if you do have elderly folks out there, you have elderly people that you visit on a regular basis, make sure you stay away if you think that you may have contracted this. It's just a good idea. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.